Starting.
Right, so here we're going to make a folding solar panel out of these semi-flexible solar panels. So that's going to be a lot lighter than your standard rigid folding solar panels, which have solar panels made of glass with aluminium. All we're going to do is bolt these to the back sheet here. This is just 3.5mm plywood. And then we're going to put these strips on the end and put some hinges on the strips so that they hinge together. Here's the hinge here. And that's going to make it. All we need is this drill here, saw, the drill bits, hinge, screws to screw the hinges in, and the bolts to bolt these solar panels onto the back sheet. Now, as before, we start by drilling holes into the back sheet so we can bolt these panels onto it. This is the last hole I'm going to drill here, and then I just use these 16mm bolts to go through each hole and bolt it to the back sheet. And then you just tighten it up with this socket. Now it's time to saw the back sheet, to cut out the back sheet here to make it the same size as the panel. It's actually very quick to do because it's only 3.5mm plywood. Now I cut this piece of wood to the right size for the hinge, and I screw the wood to the back sheet and the hinge to the wood. One thing you want to be careful of here is you never want any shade to get on these cells on the panel. So you need to make sure that the wood isn't too high that it would ever shade the panels. Here we've chosen a piece of wood that's about the same height as the junction box, so there shouldn't ever be any chance of that happening. Now I'm going to screw this piece of wood to the end here. I start off with these little screws just to fix it in place, then I'm going to drill some pilot holes and put some bigger screws in those, and that's really going to fix it down. So that's all done now, and I just need another one and fix them both together. So here are the two together, and now all I do is line them up here, put the hinge across and screw the hinge in. Like before, I'll start with a few smaller screws and then I'll drill pilot holes for the bigger screws. So there you have it, you've got your hinged panels. And now, if you want to fold them up, just turn them over like this, then you can carry them away. And as a final touch, I'm just going to drill a couple of holes through the ends of the wood here and push the cables through those, and that just keeps the cables nice and tidy. Yeah, that's the last one through. And the final thing I'm going to do now is put these copper ring connectors on the end of the cables. So you just get the bare end of the cable, push it into the copper ring connector, and then you simply solder this in place. Here I'm just soldering the ring connector on. Now you have your folding panels, fold up easily, and all the wires come out of here.